Good morning, everyone. My name is Rich Fisher from Kelly Services, and this is Mark Kriska. And we're here to talk to you guys about the Kelly Services, we'll call it the journey. Here we have Kelly Services wins with customers in the marketplace, but as everyone else here working in Tableau, this is really about our journey, where we've been, where we're going. We'll give you guys a little look at some of our dashboards, some of what we have out there so far. Sorry about that. I'm the Director of Talent Supply Chain Analytics and Reporting. Been working in the staffing industry for the past 12, 13 years in reporting and analytics. Before that, I had a little midlife crisis and was in another industry. Was in government contracting for years in operations. So I grew up in operations, then moved over to the quasi-IT industry. You want to say something about yourself, Mark?
Yeah, I worked at Kelly Services in the staffing industry for the last 2 years. I work in IT in their Business Intelligence Competency Center. Prior to that, I worked at Ernst & Young as a consultant in their Enterprise Intelligence group for 8 years. And so my focus has always primarily been business intelligence, or whatever the term they were calling it that day. So, thank you.
So if anybody has any questions, please, I mean, there's only like 20 of us in here. Please just stop us, ask questions. We want this to be informal. If I start talking too fast, it's the New Jersey in me, and my hands are already going. So it's just the way, that's just how I roll. The agenda, obviously the intro, we're going to just talk about Kelly and talent supply chain, problem, solution, demo, evolution, your standard agenda. We don't really have to beleaguer that. Kelly Services, we are obviously a staffing. Staffing is what we do. That is our main focus. We're the number 5 staffing company, I believe, in the world globally. No pictures, please. I'm only kidding. Get my good side, I'm sorry. $5.4 million in revenue. Our largest footprint is here, obviously, in the United States, in the Americas. But we are a global company, Fortune 500 company. We are the old Kelly girls for anybody who may be old here. Back from the 1950s and 60s, they started as the Kelly girls. You want to talk, you want to do a little William Russell Kelly?
Yeah. So this is a quote from William Russell Kelly, and I like this one here because while we are a large player in the staffing industry, his quote is, "Being the largest has never been our goal, but quality and leadership have been." I would suggest that we are the best. We have set standards for the industry. And I like that because it's a value statement about quality versus just size or trying to grow, but always about being the best. And I think that through this project, that's something that we've embodied as well and really driven for too.
So Kelly Services and Talent Supply Chain. What we've been noticing, and everyone obviously has been noting, is big data analytics. Obviously, everybody wants analytics. Everybody loves the word. Our company is right up there with everyone else, so everyone in the company all of a sudden wanted analytics. Datafication of HR. That's many of our clients, customers, everyone wants more. They want to know, don't just give us reports all the time. We're famous for giving reports. Give us the data, give us the analysis, tell us what we should be doing. Here, our journey, we're trying to go from operational reporting to optimization and analytics to predictive insights. We're probably halfway through this journey here with the portal, with what we'll show you in some of this. We're getting pretty good at the reporting. We're starting to show some of the optimization and analytics piece. We work with a lot of secondary suppliers. It's not just Kelly Services filling every requisition that comes in, and with our solutions, we work with many different suppliers, so we're starting to be able to optimize our supply base and look at what we're doing. We're not to predictive insights yet. We're starting to do some of the forecasting, and we're actually using some of the Tableau piece with the forecasting when it comes to spend forecasting, things like that, activity forecasting, but that's pretty much as far as we're going at this point. But we plan to get to the predictive insights. Benchmarking, this is pretty much one of the biggest ones for our clients. Everyone wants benchmarking, even internally, but all of our clients, okay, Kelly, you're finding me Java developers for $50 an hour. How much is it costing the other clients that are my competitors, that are within the Kelly practice? What are the external benchmark rates, et cetera, et cetera? Common theme you'll see throughout this. That's really, benchmarking is our biggest issue. Yes?
Small groups, I'll throw
Yeah,
a question out
go
now,
for it.
but you can answer it at any point.
Sure.
I'm in the real estate business, probably everyone here's a benchmarking challenge.
Yeah.
I can tell the same thing. Every client wants me to do benchmarking, their portfolio, real estate portfolio against everybody else's. But we get jammed up in the true nuances that the property types are different, the quality of, I've got a global Fortune 500 company with great credit, and I got a U.S. only. I mean, how are you basically getting the clients to buy into the benchmarking data you're giving?
I think we struggled with that too at first. I mean, we had that issue where initially our data it's in silos, so even if we could get it in the same place, it didn't always make sense. One of the ways we did it was by vertical, because if you're comparing somebody who does like hiring for life sciences, it's very different than somebody who does oil and gas. So we kind of had to keep things relative. Now, it does make sense benchmarking-wise to compare for some of them, against sort of like our Kelly practice. Say, hey, compared to everybody here, this is how an accountant hires at this rate or, over this time. But we struggle with that, and I think it's all about keeping things relative. So maybe that's how you stratify yours as well, saying, in comparisons of global customers or in comparisons of, total assets or something like that, so that you can say, yeah, in other companies in your size or other real estate portfolios of your size, this is how you compare and mix. So
We're giving everybody as much information as we can, because obviously not everyone is always going to buy every benchmark rate that we have. They're not going to believe it. So we're bringing in as many sources as possible. And our main source, like the biggest source we have, is the Kelly data. I mean, we are a good part of the market. So you could look across Kelly, every hire. This is one of the challenges in where we came from within Kelly. If I worked on ABC client, I knew how much I was paying for Java developers or whatever in Tennessee or wherever. I knew only where I work. But now with what we've been doing with Tableau, we built this data warehouse. Now we're giving everybody insight into our entire practice. And we're giving, and you'll see, we'll show you a few of the dashboards, but you now can start filtering through. You could look at, here are the median rates for whatever time period you want, what we're actually paying. These are the bill rates. You can filter it down by how was the person sourced. Was it like something competitively bid or not competitively bid? Was it where, like in a specific, like we can get down to a postal code. Right now we're giving everybody up at the state level right now because there's a lot of data here and we're trying to roll this out to a lot of different people within the organization. We're also pulling in external sources. Like we're taking in BLS data. We're out there in our industry. There's the salary.coms, payscale. Like everybody knows, like, there's 10, 20 different websites out there. We're grabbing as much of this data as we can. And I'll sit here and say, okay, client ABC, you're paying $50 an hour. The BLS is saying $25 an hour. This one says, like, I'll give you all 10. I'll give you an average, a median. Like, we'll roll things up. And we'll say, like, we feel that, in Los Angeles, California, it should be $50 an hour. We'll give the quartiles, et cetera, to give them a bit of a range. But, that's the best we can do. So there are some clients who will give more pushback. Some just eat it up. They just want to know, am I paying more or less? And it's not always about less. And then that's in with what we're doing here. We're trying to show them also it's not always about the cheapest price in what we do. You want quality. It may be, your driver may be cycle time. You need the Java developer in 3 days. Well, I could save you money if you give me 10 days. And I apologize. I'll start rambling. Just stop just stop me if I start to ramble. And workforce planning. That's the other thing. All of our customers, everyone wants workforce planning. In our company, we do have a workforce planning group, and we're working closely with them with pulling together the analytics. We're starting to pull into what we're working on here, like the full-time versus the temporary hires. This is just a quick view on Kelly's workforce solutions. It just shows everything that we're involved with. It used to be, like I said, we were the Kelly girls. Everything was a temporary clerk. I mean, we're still heavy in the admin clerical and light industrial, but we do full-time hiring. We do business processes. We have a lot of different things that we're doing. So right now we have everyone looking to us. Everybody, now that we've created this portal, it all started pretty much on the temp data, but now everybody wants every piece of this, the business process outsourcing. That's where we may take over a company's entire admin department, say we're hiring, or running a parts warehouse for someone, whatever it may be. And now everybody has that. It's just more data for us and more dirty data for us. Mr. Quote?
Yeah. So, thank you, Rich, for introducing that and kind of setting this up. We've got a quote here from our VP, Teresa Carroll, on the talent project. It says, even as large global organizations speak of talent as a key differentiator and source of innovation, most have not invested in the vision and infrastructure to support talent optimization. So I like this one because when we talk with our customers and we did surveys, most of them say talent and people are a key differentiator for them. It's one of their core competencies and kind of how they succeed in the marketplace. But at the same time, their purchasing groups will come to us and say, well, give us the cheapest DBA you got. And I don't think that always makes sense to say, give me the cheapest guy you got, when at the same time you're saying, these are the people who set us forward and help us to succeed. So it was an interesting paradox when they're saying this is the key to their success, but at the same time asking for it cheap as possible. So that's one of our big drivers, has always been about delivering high value and high quality, not necessarily most cost savings. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of walk you through the story of our journey. Rich has kind of set up what Kelly Services is. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the obstacles we had initially, and I'll breeze through this as much as possible so we can get into the demo and kind of show some of our dashboards off. But the area we really targeted is around our CWO practice, contingent workforce outsourcing. And essentially what that is we go to these very large Fortune 100, Fortune 500 customers who need a lot of labor and need it fast. So you can talk about a company like Johnson & Johnson, and they'll say, hey, we're going to have a new, oh, we're losing our internet connection. Well, they'll say, hey, we're going to test a new drug or test a new product. We need 100 lab techs, technicians, managers, lab managers, whatever it is. We're going to run this drug trial for 2 years. We need them on site immediately. Typically no one staffing company will have enough of those type of people in one area, so they have an entire supply chain set up. So you might have 100 suppliers looking for those people, and Kelly Services will manage that 100 suppliers, the hiring, the shortlisting, getting them on jobs, then eventually paying them. And these are called VMS tools, and essentially it's just a front office application. So we run a number of these front office applications, and that's where our data comes from. And when we first started getting this, we have hundreds of these customers, each in its own application, each in its own instance, and we want to measure this data against each other. That's really difficult to do. And at the time, what they were doing was taking the data, putting it in Excel, and then trying to measure it. And that's really difficult to do. You spend a lot of time doing that. And at the end of the day, putting data in Excel is a very low value activity.
And none of it's repeatable.
Right.
All the manual effort that goes into it is lost.
Yep. And so what you end up is a lot of time. And we've got first-class operations people who are great at building relationships and knowing your customer, knowing your processes, but spending all their time in Excel and PowerPoint. Or it doesn't make sense, where the value is in them having conversations in a consultative manner with our customers. Also, at the time, we had fully mature BI tools and data warehouses, but none of that stuff was living in there, so you couldn't do much with it. So that's kind of the way we had the environment set up at the time.
You can just right arrow and it'll...
Yeah, it won't go now because we clicked
There you go.
There we go. So the big issues were we had that disconnect between the VMS tools and our data warehouse. We had a real lack of standards as well. So, we've got 100 of these front office applications, and no two people are doing the same thing. How do you line these data sets up? And really, we were looking at 220 data points that we thought are of real value. There's 1,000 different data points in there. Yeah, 220 to start with.
And we had no standards.
And then one of the other real challenges was all our reporting was being done by business people, or by IT people. And not as a knock on IT people, I'm being one of them. I just don't know the customers. I mean, I don't sit there with them every day and talk to these people. I don't know their processes or understand their business as well as people who sit there with them every day and talk with them, understand their challenges, and know these companies inside and out. There's no excuse for people. You can't select a person from a drop-down list. That doesn't happen, We're all very unique individual snowflakes, and that's a tough part, too, is that there's not much standardization around it. One of the other big issues we had were we were delivering just reports. So you're spending all your time in Excel, you manipulate the data, you build some cool charts, you put it in PowerPoint, you send it to your customer. But in that whole time, you spend it all just manipulating the data. You never spend it analyzing, understanding it, and then bringing in insight to it. And then a lot of this stuff is being delivered as fast as they can, but it could be weeks after it happened. So these are a number of the issues that we ended up trying to solve. So it kind of got to a point where our customers are saying, hey, it's enough. We've got enough reports, got enough data. We want you to be more consultative. And we want you to bring actionable insights. So with that, we started to build our portal, and that's what we kind of came up with. And let's just jump right into it. We're going to go right into the demo for this. So what we decided to do was build a portal. One of the reasons we thought a portal was important is because we've got some really great first-class operations people, but technology isn't always their key skill. It's building relationships. That's what's important. So we wanted to have something that simplified the interaction for them. I mean, all of you in here, you all use Tableau. You've all been in it. I mean, you land there. There's a handful of tabs across the side. Maybe there's 100 pictures that load. You got Joe's development activities in there, somebody's product activities. You got 4 or 5 customers. And then at the end of the day, that's no different than any of the BI tools out there. If you talk about Cognos or ClickView or SPOTFIRE, all these interfaces are perfect for developers. And me coming from a development background, that's what I like. I want 13 tabs across the top, 20 pages deep, 20 folders deep, and 100 long, because I can find everything. It's really well organized. But if you talk about what an executive needs or a manager needs, that's confusing for them, because they go from one meeting to the next. They got 5 minutes in between them, and they're saying, I got to get it fast. Where do I go? They're not going through that. They don't have the patience or the time. So what we decided to do was build a portal that directed them to where they need to be. So when you land on our homepage, you can't even tell this is part of Tableau, and that was part of it too. We don't want them to learn Tableau. We want them to consume from it.
Can I just jump in? I'm sorry, I don't want to just cut you off. But when we started with the portal, we brought in Tableau, and we started playing with it a little bit to prototype it, as everyone, I'm sure, has done. But we started trying to solve one problem. We created 1 or 2 dashboards, and that was great. And it got everybody excited in the company, and they were like, that's awesome. Let's, can you do this? Can you do that? So then we started building more and more. And that's when we really were like, all right, we need some sort of a portal, because this thing is going to grow. And with what we have right now, there's a lot of things that aren't even in here right now that we're already working on that we'll be adding to it. But yeah, so the portal, at first, we just wanted to solve one little problem, create a couple of bar charts and pie charts. Oh, Tableau can help us. But then this whole thing exploded on us, building the data warehouse, and then onto the portal.
Yeah, and it serves a number of needs too. It manages their authentication. So for executives, tablets are cool. They're hot. You want to be on your iPad and do it. You want to do it from your house or in your car, right? So that was one of the big important ones for us too, is that we enable them to connect from anywhere, not just on our Kelly assets, our Kelly laptop desktops, but your personal items as well. And so I didn't show you the interface for this here, but they can do that as well. Also, we set up, here's our homepage you land. It's got a number of reference materials for you to kind of, if you need a portal overview, if you want to understand how the talent supply chain management works, it's all here. And then we gave them 4 logical areas to look into, which are order efficiency, rate analysis, supplier optimization, workforce planning. And they can go into any one of these, and they all have a very consistent setup, which is they give a brief explanation of what's in here, kind of a sexy view of it too, using all the Kelly branding. And then we have these carousels across the bottom, which manage our dashboards that stay relevant to what's in this area and what makes sense to them. What we also wanted to do is make it easy for them to reference. It's important because Rich might say, oh yeah, you know what, go back in there and look at that one dashboard. And be like, well, which one was it? But it's easy to remember a picture. You can be like, yeah, it was the one with the map on it under order efficiency. And so you can go in there and you can find the map. But he might not have remembered it was demand analysis. So we keep those couple different reference points in there for them. So that's like really easy for them to get to.
And we are still fine-tuning the way we have our tabs. Like this is, like right now, we've really just rolled this out. It's been rolled out for a while, but to the masses over the past few months. So we're starting to get feedback. So we may reorganize a little bit, try to get people to their answers a little bit quicker.
But yeah, but that is the key, is that it directs you to an answer. So when you're saying something like, I want to look into order efficiency, there's analysis there available for you, and you can go right to it. And we don't just use this for our customers. We use it internally as well. And so we've even put together what we call our control panel. Oh, let me find the mouse. And we use that internally as well to manage some of our own stuff. So, I mean, we built our internal portal to help us understand when things are going on. So we had a number of data issues initially, and we looked at ourselves for a long time. It's like maybe our ETL is messed up, maybe our data warehouse is wrong, and then lo and behold, it wasn't us. It was our source systems, and we're grabbing the data from them that's not right. And so what we did is we put together some dashboards that helped us out in terms of audit controls. And here's one we built. It's taking a little while to load. It's probably user ready. Was this? No, this is me. I built this one. I'm teasing. User ready helped us out a lot with some of our stuff here, and this is one I put together. And I want you to notice the consistency of the design. So we do all of ours the exact same way. The iframe this pops up in is the exact size that fits on an iPad, and it fits on a presentation view of every Kelly desktop and laptop, all in a single look. I don't have to scroll, and I get it all. We also put a border across the top with our brand and title. We put an info tip that describes what the dashboard is, what the calculations are, what are the actions and filters. I don't want to have to remember that stuff. And quite honestly, I can't remember that stuff. I built this dashboard. I don't know how those 7 things are calculated anymore because I did it 6 months ago. But I know if I come in here, and the nice thing is we've fixed 5 of the 7 been fixed by our vendors. I can come back in here and say, show me that info tip. Oh, okay, so far future approval and future modification date issues have all been fixed because they don't show up here anymore. I might not remember that there were 7 issues if I hadn't laid it out. So those are some of the things in terms of like feature and function that we made sure to do consistently across all our dashboards. And what's interesting is when we get help desk calls about stuff, maybe an authentication didn't work or something didn't quite come up right, they never call up and say, hey, is this Tableau broken or what? It's the portal. The portal's broken. They don't even know sometimes that they're in Tableau because it's not the presentation layer. It's simply our visualization engine, and that's kind of how we've used it, and it's been remarkable for us. Did you want to kind of show some of the front-end portal stuff?
Yeah, you know what? Maybe let's show the video first.
Okay. Show the video first.
We have our company right now is starting to market this portal to external clients. We're starting to bring in data from others. So we had a big marketing push. So we have like a quick 1-minute YouTube video, YouTube type video that kind of just shows you, it gives a good overview of what the portal is and what it does.
Yeah.
Well, with our existing clients, we're supposed to do like a lot of what this is doing. A lot of what this portal is doing is it's educating our operations teams to run their business better. there are, like we may have, as we go along our journey here, right now it's all internal. We've demoed it for all of our clients, not all of them, but many of them. And we're starting to create an offering for our clients. That's okay. So we're going to push this out to clients as well. Not sure exactly what we're going to give them yet, how much we're going to give them, but there are going to be, we're going to have like consulting deals that we do, even if it's currently a non-client. We will charge for certain things, not this exact portal, but this type of stuff.
So we're going to show you our 3-minute video here that basically is the synopsis of this 45-minute presentation. So we could probably just play.
And she sounds better than us.
Want to take the next step in your talent supply chain journey? Recharge your organization's critical skills talent pool. Reboot your talent market insights, processes, and systems. Re-accelerate your journey to a holistic workforce management strategy with the KELLYOCG Talent Supply Chain Analytics Platform. If you are responsible for managing your workforce program, you probably have a good view of the who, what, and when of your supply-based spend and performance. But when it comes to data, sometimes the mirror can be our worst enemy, which is why KELLYOCG developed the Talent Supply Chain Analytics Platform, combining internal and external market data across all geographies and labor categories to enable benchmarking and predictive analytics for more effective workforce planning decisions. Where operational reporting focuses on one metric at a time, Talent Supply Chain Analytics finds the interrelationship between these metrics, helping to drive actionable business insights and change. There are 4 main areas to the platform. Rate analysis. Rate analysis will not only help you analyze your current spend and identify focus areas, it will help you understand how competitive you are relative to your peers in your industry, suppliers outside your program, in your geography and the overall marketplace. It will help you answer questions like, are my rates competitive to the market? How much in savings is a competitive supply chain providing me? Where are the most opportune areas for savings? Where do I have rate compliance issues? Supplier optimization focuses on identifying the optimal supply chain attributes based on the interaction of key performance indicators like time, cost, quality, and strategic alignment. It will help you answer questions like, can I reduce or increase the supply base to optimize cost without affecting quality? Who are my best suppliers and how can I optimize them? How do my suppliers perform outside of my program? Who are the other suppliers not in my program that can improve my performance? Order efficiency allows you to see the efficiencies of your overall process and tune accordingly with predictive insight. It will then enable you to understand your own efficiency, benchmarked to other programs. It will help answer questions such as, is my cycle time efficient compared to the market, and how can I improve? What is my risk due to aging orders? How elastic, responsive, and efficient is my supply chain? Workforce planning focuses on identifying and aligning your workforce composition and provides the insight to optimize the segmentation necessary to execute on your overall workforce plan. It will answer questions like, what is the composite of your workforce? How is it trending? And does it align to your workforce plan? How do the processes across your talent acquisition approaches align and compare to the key performance indicators necessary to execute on your talent acquisition strategy? Where can you change your workforce management model to optimize cost and further develop your talent ecosystem? Where can you develop and implement talent pools to secure your critical talent assets and be more efficient? Consult with KELLYOCG and leverage the Talent Supply Chain Analytics Platform to broaden your data analytics lens and drive more effective workforce planning decisions.
I love that video. I have to be honest with you, the first time I saw that video, it scared me. Because I knew our marketing team was like working on a video for us, but I was like, oh my God, this thing is now real. Like we actually have to deliver. Like something we have got to deliver this thing now. So it honestly, it scares me a little bit when I watch it because I do think it's great. Where am I going to, Mark? What do I hit? This?
Yep.
That Did we have any more slides, or am I just... Because we'll go into a little bit more demo. Do we want to do demo first?
Yeah, do some more demo.
Okay, you know what? We'll give you a little flavor of... A little bit more flavor of the portal, and if you guys want to hit us with any questions, feel free. Please get me to the portal. Is it me?
No, it's just extended display, so it's more difficult because you kind of have to...
So I have to look at the screen?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There you
go. Okay. So, quick on the portal. I mean, you saw like our little video there, but we can really, like I'm just going to hit on a couple of them. I really can't show too many of them because our company we're just starting to roll this out. So everybody's very sensitive to the data and what we have in here. I was just going to say that shouldn't be spinning so long. But here we have, like, we're big into scatter plots here. All these different diamonds are different clients and what their median bill rates and cycle times are. And you go off into the right and you get into the gory details. Like each one of the dots over here is a specific contractor or somebody that was hired, and we're looking at it, and how long it took to hire them and what's their median bill rate. So we're trying to show, like here, obviously benchmarking. Hey, you know what? We're on J&J here. Hey, J&J, here's you compared to the rest of the clients that are in here right now. And we could break this down, like right now we're in the Americas. We go down to state and all of our things right now, but we are capturing postal codes and MSAs here in the States. So we're going to be drilling in more into that. But we can start drilling in like to labor categories. I could look at just IT. I could look at a specific job title. We have hidden, which we're not showing yet. We have levels and key skills. If you just want to look at a Java developer in Los Angeles, we'll be able to show you that. And this is pretty consistent throughout. We did this. We have this. It doesn't make sense, but we call it constant currency. That's just an internal Kelly thing. But we do have currency conversions. So as we go through all of the different dashboards, we built a little parameter there so we can do our currency conversions. We usually do them once a month. We could switch periods throughout all the dashboards.
You got a question there?
Yes.
What makes that button close to the information button?
I'm sorry. We've put a bunch of drill throughs. So I have, and this is the icon that I'm using right now. It's like a little piece of paper. It's telling the user that you could drill through, and basically it's going to drill you through to gory details, to some of the like Excel spreadsheet type things. So and just like to kind of go back to our journey a little bit, where this whole thing like started. We started building these dashboards, and it was hurry up, like I built a couple of dashboards and everybody bid off on it. And then we started sitting in a room, and I got Mark and some others involved, and we sat down and we started, and everybody has a million ideas. So then what we did is we brought on, and I got to point these two guys out here at User Ready, Srini and Arun from User Ready. We got them in to help because honestly, I was still learning the tool, trying to build. So we started building. It was like, hurry up, build 500 dashboards like in a week. Let's go. So along this journey, we're a year later now. And now our latest challenge has been performance. So now I have a lot more of these drill throughs, and these guys have been right next to me for a while now. But we've had performance issues. So we had a lot of tables like this. The first generation of this was the two scatter plots, and then there were tables underneath. And they had like long, like some of them were like I wasn't even filtering some of them, so it might have been long with like job titles or supplier names or whatever it was. So it was taking forever to load. So getting with these guys, we started working on performance, and we started cleaning up a lot of the vises, splitting them out into multiple vises, et cetera, et cetera.
The drill through makes sense for us too, because if you think about how these dashboards sort of work, we've got multiple different levels at which they target. So if you think about maybe there's 3 levels, like an executive level, a managerial level, and an analyst level, they all need different types of data. So when you look at a dashboard like this, it's very high level. And this summarizes a few million data points in less than a few hundred. And this is perfect for an executive who can take in one look and say, hey, my cycle times versus my bill rates look good, or whatever analysis they're doing. I don't know, I'm on the IT side, so not all of it always makes sense to me. But from that targeted view, it makes sense for them. But as you talk to a manager who may be managing 15 of these people, they're going to say, well, I got to know a little bit more than just, is that customer working well? I got to know each of my guys, how are they doing? And so that way they can direct workflow day to day. And so we've given them these drill-through options so that they can get to the data that's relevant to them, but still targeted towards this cycle time versus bill rate. And then consequently, again, you can go one level further with just the default Tableau views and then put that stuff in a text file and go through it line by line by line if you wanted. It's impossible to go through 1 million lines of data in one look, but that way you kind of have that pyramid of like, hey, at the top, real summarized for executives, something more detailed for managers, and then extremely detailed for your analysts at the end.
And we've been working to thin out like the number of filters we have. Like the number of filters set up there, like it still seems to be a lot. And I know these guys once in a while say, too many. But we've gotten rid of a bunch. Yes?
So customers could authenticate themselves through this portal and look at the data?
Well, right now we're not to the point where I'm handing it to my external client. We are working on that quickly.
December.
Right, guys?
We're going to give it to December.
But we are working on that. We're looking Q4, Q1 probably more realistically. I'm hoping Q4, but it'll probably be Q1. So
Your external client, you mean a Kelly person or the J&J?
a J&J person. We're looking to get this to external people. So there's a lot that has to go on even with the permissions and all with anonymizing the data, because when I give J&J, you can only see J&J. Like if I click on any or even hover over these green buttons right now, it'll say, client 1, 2, 3. It'll tell you who it is and what. Like J&J, they could see where they fall in the benchmark, but you can't see that that's, who each competitor is, et cetera. So there's a lot that's got to go into that. So right now, the first phase of this is to educate the Kelly people. Sorry.
And the data, all the data, does it reside on your internal servers or on cloud?
Yeah, so all our data is in an internal Kelly data warehouse. Essentially, all these front office applications are software as a service, so they're cloud services. We take all that data, store it locally. We go through like a cleansing process, and I kind of use the air quotes there because we're not necessarily changing the data, but more standardizing it. I mean, if you think about simple things like addresses, I could type Fort Worth, F-O-R-T. You could type it F-T period. Somebody else could type it F-T space Worth, right? So we have to do a lot of data standardization. Like one of the things I think about is
It's horrible.
Across our customers, we have 25,000 different job titles. Realistically, there's maybe like 1,500 real job titles. But you got to get them all to one standard, because how do you benchmark across multiple customers if you don't have it clean? Like if I want to choose data analyst and look at them across 70 customers, they all got to be spelled D-A-T-A analyst, right?
If you look at supplier names, like we have all these secondary suppliers and all these, we're pulling from many different systems. If you look at the word Kelly Services, and I keep looking at Brian here because he's one of us, he goes through this, he feels the pain of it. You look at Kelly Services throughout our clients, there are probably 2,500 versions of Kelly Services in there, because people have different ways with the way they do their business, putting things in parentheses next to it. Just a lot of manual manipulation that we have to do on the backside.
This is basically our process. We grab from our cloud applications, run an ETL process, put it in our Kelly data warehouse. We present some Cognos packages there, but essentially then we put it into a mapping database where we take in some external marketing data feeds as well, and we do a cleansing process, put it in Tableau, and then present it through the web portal and server. And that's at a high level what we do. A lot more goes into that, obviously, but yeah, we use this control panel basically for everything we do. I mean, it keeps us organized. And
we use this every week. Currently we refresh once a week.
Yeah.
So right away we have to go to this to make sure, okay, did anything in the extract over, like Sunday night, did anything happen in the extract? Did anything happen with the data? What's going on? Because we had, in the very beginning of this, we would walk in on Monday morning and everybody be all happy, grab your cup of coffee, and then people are calling, the building's on fire, oh my God, what is this? My spend is wrong, or my whatever. So this was a live and learn in the process, these dashboards here.
Do the data cleanup, is an application or you do it manually?
Manual. We
Yeah.
have a person
We have
who
a
has a
person.
full-time job, and others that help, but a person who sits there. And every Monday we have a process that spits out all the new stuff.
There's an application that surrounds it, though, so that
Right.
they go in there.
But
It shows them what values are uncleansed or unmapped. They go through and make an evaluation. Some of them are easy. If you spelled out Michigan and we take a 2-letter abbreviation, you put MI in, right? But if you got a job title without a description, that's kind of difficult. How do you map that to data analysts?
this person
and business
reads
analysts,
through
right?
job descriptions because we have like a Kelly job tree to standardize because we want to go across all of our clients and we want to make sure that every admin assistant is the same when we're doing benchmarking to make sure that it's real, like so that our clients will buy, even our internal people, they're our toughest clients, to be honest with you, that they buy off to say, okay, this benchmarking is real, that this admin assistant is the same as this, as that. So we have this person who is reading job descriptions. So there are cases like an accountant, a cost accountant, a tax accountant, like just that, those titles right there. Like many clients have different versions of what they are.
Yeah, and there's also national and international standards that they've got to be mapped to as well. Because, I mean, when you talk about the different international and national standards, the ones for the UK are different than the ones for US, which are different from Canada. And we're a global company, and when somebody from France wants to say, like, well, what's the rate for the standards we're using in France as compared to the ones in the US, you got to have it set up already. You can't go and say, well, gee, take these 1,500, match it to this 2,000, and tell me how it works out. You kind of have to have some of that already prepared. So
Change management is one of the biggest challenges as well for us.
It's not
Like,
easy.
you know, in our industry, you know, like everybody, the people that are out in the field working, servicing these clients, they're all about customer service and sales. You know, they're looking for a Java developer. I need the right Java developer. I need to get them in their seat and start working so we can start billing. But nobody, like along the way, thinks about the reporting and the data afterwards, and that has been one of our biggest challenge. That, as well as we've built this portal, the second big piece to the change management for us as a company, we built this for our operations people, and we're a company who many people are used to, and I'm not like kind of picking on anyone, but they're used to being handed like their data and their reports. We have like a reporting team who does a lot of the legwork in Excel and cleaning it up and doing all that, and they shoot them an email. Now we're telling them, okay, operations, we have your clean data. Come in here and go to this pretty dashboard and filter it to what you want. So it's like we're fighting adoption, trying to get people to buy off, like, hey, go to it. You know, but a lot of people are like, I'm busy. I have my full-time job. You know, I could call John Doe over here and they send me my report.
The cool thing about that mapping, if I can jump in just real quick,
Definitely.
is that, you know, now it's being done once and it's standardized. In the past, you know, all three of us would have our own cleansing process in Excel.
Our own Excel file. Yep.
and we do it every 3 months.
And so the mapping within this tool that they've built standardizes that. So it's the audit and you map it once and it's done in the database as opposed to every week or every month and you know, 3 different people having different values for that mapping process.
So it helps set like a global Kelly standard that we can use across all customers. And that's how we got out of our silos, and you can easily benchmark across programs.
Yes.
Another question there?
Does the person who's generating extensions to that mapping have tools? I mean, there's some things that you could do with a script that have new mapping potentially.
So yeah, so we do a lot with scripting. I mean, like with the address stuff, there's some pretty basic regular expressions you can write that'll take like a full address field and populate 90%. So we help them out in those regards. But then there's really non-standard data, even with like some natural language processing, you're not going to get the right answer, or you're going to get low confidence answers. So we're not doing a ton with that. I mean, that is one of the evolutions we continue to work towards. But the tool he uses essentially is a quick and dirty.
We're working on setting standards throughout the company. So we're going back into these original tools where we're pulling the data. And we have a team of people, a data governance team, who are going back into these tools to say, okay, let's put like something as simple as like city and state. Let's have it standard. It's all, I don't care if it's spelled out or if it's the entire, like everybody's doing it the same. Let's get them as required drop downs. We have like reasons that a person is, say, terminated or left their assignment. You know, right now, a lot of them are just text boxes.
Yeah, we have
So-
over 5,000 close reasons.
You know, so you have to
It's not 5,000
you have to
reasons you
read
could
through to
tell.
know, like, was the person fired? Did they leave on good terms, bad terms? Whatever, like stuff like that. There's some that we can't even do that, but we are setting standards. Hopefully, that'll be implemented.
You guys have all this information set up. What kind of structure do you guys have right now that takes it from, a manager or an executive saying, hey, they constantly say, hey, this is nice, we gain some more information. Now what is this really telling us what to do about it?
Well,
The opportunity?
so now we're looking on bringing on some more consultants. Like we have like we're educating our ops people. We look to, like, and I always say it, and I know it's something that we'll never get away from, but my goal that I always say is we're looking to get rid of PowerPoint presentations. When our ops people, I want them to go in with a laptop with Tableau open, with this portal open where they're, using the Remember My Change, like where you're having your dashboard set up for your client for whatever, whatever you want to show them. Like I'm even saying, don't even take screenshots and throwing it in a PowerPoint. Like, I know, will we ever get rid of PowerPoint? No. But we'll get them to the point that they're walking in with that laptop and having 5 dashboards, and the operations person is going to have the knowledge of how to find those, and it's a corny term, but those aha moments. And that's like a Kellyism, aha moments. But they'll know how to find those and show them to their client. But we're going to help them in the beginning, and probably forever. But
yeah, it's an education and it's an evolution over time. I mean, we just kind of got to benchmarking across programs, and this is new for a lot of people, and so they're learning it. And then, we're evolving right now doing the forecasting, and that's going to be difficult for them too. So a lot of the focus has been on training, and that's one of the big things Rich has done. And I don't mean a classroom with 30 people. I mean half a day sitting on his lap, showing them, making them go through it.
it's brutal sometimes. Like,
No, it's
and you go through it, and then they, a week later, it's like, hey,
Yep.
But that's
How do I log
good.
in?
That means they're going into the tool. So we're fighting through the adoption thing, getting everybody trained up, like Mark said.
But they're great though. I mean, they're
Yeah.
really trying, and they're doing great with it.
Yep.
I want to ask, what is the scale of this project? Is this North American?
Global.
This is global.
This is global.
Yep.
We have people in Singapore that are accessing this. We're a global company. America's data is more robust, but we have EMEA and APAC in there as well. We have clients globally. Every bit of data that we have, and I shouldn't say every bit of data we have because there are other clients, like new clients. There's a few on some more crazier technologies where, like, we're still working on getting some data into the portal, but we do, like, this is global. Everything we have is in here.
So I don't want to take away from the other content, but a number of us from Tableau walked in, and we'd love to hear more about what you'd like us to make this better, besides faster. Faster first.
To make it better.
Yeah, what
The-
sort of visualizations, what sort of analytics, particularly,
The-
that's kind of our area.
The big thing that I'm getting right now, and I'm going to start trying to incorporate it, and I saw on one of the things somebody at Cisco had some version, but it's really like, listen, everybody wants everything handed to them in this world. Like, we want it to be, and I said it to David the other night, a magic 8-ball. Like, everybody wants a magic 8-ball. They want to take the magic 8-ball. Who should I call to get me the Java developer in Los Angeles, California? And you click the button, it'll at least get them to the dashboard that they have to go to. Because that's what I was saying before. Like, we have the 4 tabs up there. We have some of the questions, what it's going to answer. Look at these. But oh, what tab is it under? I'm going to put I'm thinking like a little question and answers type thing. What's my spend last quarter or last week or today?
Search
j-
within
uh,
the context of every dashboard.
Yeah,
I-
Google search
you know, I-
based on something we set up ahead of
I
time,
need to
like
make this a
description or
magic
something
8-ball
like that, yeah.
is where I'm going. And it's going to be baby steps. Like, I'm probably going to do, set up like the questions and put some links in there that link you to a dashboard. Like, we're going to work through that now. But any way that we can go through like a logical, where people can, like, I always put like FAQs or something where, like, I don't know how I'm going to structure it yet, but Cisco had some stuff on their screen yesterday in one of the sessions that they have, like, and it looked kind of cool. So.
We have added some increase in navigability when you're looking at the server view.
Mhm.
And, with search via
in there.
Workbooks or you know, and you get a little bit quicker to
Okay.
what you want, but you know what it's called, or and so what you really need is search through the content, and then keywords.
Yeah, it's going to search across the dashboard, so it's not particular to a dashboard. So it's going to have you just want to have a Google search bar on top, and you just type in what's been spent. It just pops
That's ideal right there.
Yeah.
You would need to keep
Get me that.
constrained to what you're allowed to look at as well.
Sure.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
To that, would you want to craft the answer by hand, and how much would you like it to come magically out of the dashboard?
Well, it's not magically going to, nothing is magically going to come out.
Nothing's
and that's
easy, yeah.
because that's the thing.
I'm giving you a wide field.
Yeah.
We want the magic wand. Things that need to come out of the dashboard content specifically that
They're
Tableau knows that you don't know.
Yeah.
You could give meta. We could allow you to define meta keywords, right? Like
Yeah.
you opt-
Like have tagging or descriptions or something,
Right.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
Which means that we wouldn't then have to go search the entire thing for useful text.
Right.
Which obviously would take more time. So,
Yeah, but it's not that big.
but it wouldn't be the end of the world to do either.
But we already have tags which we can search. So the Tableau server already has search for users, dashboard names, and tags, right? It already has.
Yeah.
The Tableau server interface already provides by date also. So these are 4 items they already search. I think what Rich would really like is at least search by the dimensions used or the measures used.
more of a
Because
natural language.
if-
Like you
because
ask question and answer.
Yeah. Because that's what everybody knows Google, right? It's
I mean, natural language.
It's-
Natural language is still the second step. The first step I would think is if I can search dimension names and just say I know spend, I want to see spend, so I search for the word spend.
Right.
It's one of their dimensions.
Yep.
It's one of their measures, so they can go and you can bring back dashboards which have spend as one of the dimensions. That would be great.
Can we get this
So-
for 9.0?
So I think we're running close on time. So I think we're running tight on time. So I'm going to read one last slide here, and we can continue the discussion after. But I just want to close it out here with a quote I took from itbusinessnet.com. And it's through the alpha release of their talent supply chain analytics portal, KELLYOCG says its frontline operations managers are saving a minimum of 10 hours per week on reporting and can now use that time to share insights, benchmarks, and best practices with clients. So we kind of walked you through the problem we had, getting the data in there, getting it to the people, getting them trained. We solved it with this portal and Tableau, and then here's the real value is 10 hours a week. And if you think about a 10-hour-a-week savings where you're not working in Excel and PowerPoint and manipulating data just to get it look right, but instead, what do we work 50 hours in a year or 50 weeks in a year? That's 500 hours.
Could go golfing.
Yeah, so 500 hours, and it's not a cost savings one where we're saying, we need
Right.
less people, but having the same amount of people, but spending their time in better ways. So spending 500 hours
That's it.
a year having consultative conversations with your customers, sharing insights, and delivering real value the way they should. And that's building relationships with them and setting strategies that work and grow their business. And so that's how we win with our customers in the marketplace.
Sure.
You come from the IT development background.
Yep.
If you look back at the process, the beginning, how did you manage some objections from other, you have the BI legacy systems, Cognos, I saw, maybe the kind of job security concerns they didn't make?
Yep, that's a great question. So, first I want to say thank you to the entire team that helped us build this. It wasn't just Rich and I. There's a lot of people that were behind it. And a big part of our success was the support from our executive leadership. We had real strong support. There's a very clear directive saying, hey, make it work, make it go, and they don't care what it takes, just make it happen. And so we did.
I like that picture.
They said, we want you guys to use it. We built a POC in literally a week that was an ugly version of this portal with 5 dashboards, and we showed it to them, blew their socks off, and I don't think we slept that
This
week.
portal changes every day.
But when they saw it, they couldn't believe that it could be done. So at that point, they said, here's a huge project budget, here's the people you need, and then we made it real. And so there's definitely some objections even still to this day. But I mean, people get behind it.
How long did it take for it to deploy?
To deploy, like it was last June a year ago that I think we first got Tableau, right? Brian and I we're the ones who got the Tableau and started playing with it. I built like a prototype, started messing around with it within like the first few months there, and then come October, we had like a big Kelly meeting in front of like some of our key customers, and we gave a demo of what we built, and then we started kind of to deploy. So it's been about a year, but honestly, we've just recently gone to the masses. Like we started
less than a year, because we called Dave in October when our server 2-week free license was running out, and we said we need it right now, and then he turned it around in like 2 days, and after 2 weeks we had the infant version of this, and then that was less than a year ago.
Because we built this originally, I started this, it was in Excel. Like it was crazy, but we started in Excel just to make a prototype to sell it. And I look back, that's what I should show in this demo, is how nasty what I built. Like, and people actually, and I say it to them now, I'm like, I cannot believe they bought off on this, on what I built. Like, but honestly, it was pretty good stuff. It was really like those scatter plots was a good piece of it, stuff like that. But it wasn't all sexy and pretty at that point.
So that's the end of our session. We can continue with any questions in the hall if you guys want, but make sure and take the survey, and we thank you for your time.
If anybody wants a card, wants to talk anymore, let us know. We can show you a little bit more if you ever would like to.